dark dreamer? It is said that to best enjoy the light, you must first explore the heart and soul of the darkness. We are the artists who create in the shadows, whose dreams are designed to become your reality. I'm Stanley Wiater. Welcome to my world of the dark fantastic. Welcome to the world of dark dreamers. Are you a dark dreamer? Monster maker Stan Winston most unquestionably is. A true master in the special makeup and visual effects field, Winston has won Emmys for such television movies as the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, and has won Academy Awards for the features Aliens, Terminator 2, and Jurassic Park. Among his many other Academy Award nominations are Predator, Edward Scissorhands, and The Lost World, Jurassic Park. In addition, the Stan Winston Studio has contributed to such popular films as The Terminator, Starman, Lake Placid, Galaxy Quest, and Steven Spielberg's AI. And among Winston's credits as a director is the cult classic Pumpkinhead. Recently, Stan invited us to his studio in Van Nuys, California, where we discuss what new creatures, both large and small, might soon be released into this world. Stan, if you would, could you tell us a bit about your current projects?
Yeah, we've been extremely busy. This summer is one of the busiest summers, if not the busiest summer we've ever had as far as releases go. This summer, of course, we released Jurassic Park 3 and AI, Steven Spielberg's AI, and we also did work on Pearl Harbor. And so from a summer release standpoint, the body of work that we did last year for this summer's release was probably the busiest my studio's ever been. Currently, during that period of time and during the summer, we've also been, Stan Winston Productions has produced, along with Lou Arkoff and Colin Camp, 5 movies for HBO and Cinemax called Creature Features, which we will start releasing the first week in October and through Halloween, and then all through the month of November, which I'm very excited about. These are, as I said, movies that I've co-produced with Lou Arkoff, and also the studio has done the creature effects for it. And these are creature features, and each one is based on a title of Sam Arkoff's library, the late Sam Arkoff, who just unfortunately passed away. But this was a great homage to Sam before his passing. All of the wonderful B horror movies of the 50s, and we've used these titles and with brand new, young, vibrant writer-directors come up with new storylines and new creatures for movies like Earth versus the Spider, The Day the World Ended, The She Creature, How to Make a Monster. Wonderful titles, camp, wonderful historic titles like that. And these movies I'm very proud of. They're fun, and they each have a different tone, yet they fall into the creature features genre. Along with that, which is extremely big for me, extremely exciting. It's hard to believe that someone as old and gray as I am, but still extremely attractive, has, you get to a point where you go, what are you going to do next? What's left, whatever. Obviously, I come from being a fan of this kind of movie, monsters, the dark side, creatures. But that comes from a kid with a sort of vibrant, creative imagination, who obviously has something missing, because that's where my focus was on the monster movies and the creatures and toys and thinking about that, being that obviously I was a shut-in. I love toys. I've always loved toys. I am exposing my toy line, which is Stan Winston Creatures. Which is, coming to the market starting the first week in October, along with with creature features. And the first line of action figures from Stan Winston Creatures is the creature features line. And so each of the creature features, which are movies that I produced, are producing the creatures and the characters of the first line of action figures. And I'm very excited about it because this is sort of a first all the way around for Stan Winston. The wonderful thing about the toy line, and I'll spend some time with it because I'm so excited about it, is that these action figures are being designed and created by the same artists who are the artists who created the Terminator endoskeleton, the same artists who created the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, the same artists who did the Predator, the same artists who did Edward Scissorhands. So rather than getting a copy of a Picasso, when you go and get one of these action figures, you're truly getting a Picasso. You're getting the real deal, and that's sort of a really good feeling to me to know that not only are people now allowed to touch and see the kind of art and creature and character mentality and artistic talent and mentality that comes out of the studio and has been coming out of it for 30 years now, but now you can touch it and feel it. You can take it home with you as an action figure, knowing that the art behind it is these same artists. And what we've done with the first line, which is very cool, is, again, given this competitive thing of, inspiration Todd McFarlane, competition Todd McFarlane, what are we going to do, to raise the bar and do what maybe, Todd can't do? And that aspect of that is that these are the original artists. These are the guys who have created these iconic movie characters that I've taken credit for all these years, but ultimately don't do anything myself except take credit for everybody else's work, and then do interviews like this and take up the entire show talking about how great I am when really I do nothing. So what we're doing with the action figures is we've created a CD-ROM that goes along with the first line, with the creature features line, and the CD-ROM is literally the making of the action figure, where the guy who, when you buy the action figure, you also have a CD-ROM, you play it, you see the making of it, you see the artist sculpting, the design process, you see the paint process, you see the story behind it, you get to know the artist involved, you see my personal involvement. By the way, I don't just stamp my name on anything, I'm personally involved. And as involved in the creating of these creatures and characters for the toy world as I ever have been creating creatures and characters for the movie world. It's basically what we've been doing for film for 30 years, we're now doing for creatures and characters in the action figure line. And so you get to meet the artist, you see him at work, you see the development, the artistic development, and you get the bio of the artist. You'll see that this artist was one of the principal artists on Jurassic Park or Predator or whatever his bio is, his list of credits, and my involvement. So therefore, the guy who ends up with the toy, beyond it being an action figure, and isn't that cool, there's an educational side to it. There's the art of it, which is huge to me. This now toy line that has the CD-ROM is basically, again, my bridge. Not only do I want to break in and create action figures because I'm a kid and I love action figures and toys, but it's important for me to elevate that action figure artistically, and for you not only to enjoy it as an action figure and the attention to detail and the cool sculpture, but to see the artists and know the art that is behind it and know that there is a Picasso there. And every line that we do after that, by the way, after the first line, the second line is The Realm of the Claw, which is a story of cat gods that I've been developing for over 15 years now. And these characters will come out in the second line, and the next line is Mutant Earth, and it's so. The wonderful thing about it is now what we're doing at Stan Winston Studio is, and from a diversification standpoint, you sorry you asked this question about what are we doing now, boy, because you're getting it. What we are doing now is taking all of these thoughts of creatures and characters that have been welling up inside us, welling up inside me and all the wonderful artists that I'm surrounded by for years and years, that in some ways you sit back in a semi-frustrated way, waiting for the right project to come across your desk, the right script to come to you that'll give you a chance to create a new character. And you always go, gosh, if we only had the freedom of just letting it go and creating the ultimate this creature and the ultimate that creature and the ultimate this. Always wanted to see the ultimate, werewolves have never been done the way I want to do it. So we're going to do our toy line of werewolves called Blood Werewolves. We are now, with the action figure line, creating characters that nobody's ever seen before, that are fresh out of the minds of the artists and the creative minds of Stan Winston Studio, that with the single exception of the first line with Creature Features, which is connected to the Creature Features movies, but are creatures that nobody's ever seen before, that we've created for the movies, and in this case we are creating the toy line to come out just in front of the creatures. Every other toy line is in front of the movie. It's not the life of a movie and now let's make a creature. We are introducing characters and creatures from Stan Winston Studio as action figures, as toys. For the first time, people will see them with a freedom of thought and imagination, not strapped to waiting for a script to come in. And from that, we have developed our stories. We are developing our stories and our scripts. And from these creatures, I'm sure movies will spring. But whereas the movie, the toy or the action figure is not dependent on the movie is dependent on the action figure, which we have seen actually has worked, and by virtue of, again, who I look at in this particular case as an inspiration, Todd McFarlane. Spawn were the characters, the comic book, the creatures, the toys, the movie. Movie comes, the movie goes, but the Spawn characters continue to live. And that's what I hope to do with the creatures that are coming from Stan Winston now, the new monsters. The new creatures that are going to be introduced in our toy line is they will have their life, a longer life, a more immortal life than they would have if they were simply connected to a movie. And movies will follow. And, of course, the games will follow. The comic books will be simultaneous. It's a wonderful freedom as a creature creator, as a monster creator, to go, I don't have to wait to get a movie made. At this present time also, and fans will want to know this, we are also designing new characters for Terminator 3, which I can't really talk to you about, but it is happening.
Stan, could you tell us what a typical workday is like for you?
No. Can't tell you what a typical workday is like for me, because there is no typical workday for me. I don't know if you've gotten that answer before, but there is a typicalness of the workday. There is a methodology. There is a get up. There is a come to the studio. There is a discuss the projects at hand. There is a discuss the movies that we are talking about, the stories, what a discussion, intellectual and artistic discussion of the characters that we are creating. The creative process is somewhat similar. It's, we have a bank of brilliant artists who are, from conceptual standpoint, will start drawing, and now, of course, we have new tools. We draw with pencil and paper. We also draw with a computer. We do, using every tool there is. We're into the design mode. Then we go from the designing of the character based on a script, based on the story that is, required, based on what that character should look like. Thinking of it, okay, you've read it. Here's what the character should look like. Now, how does that character have to perform? How that character has to act, and then that goes into the aspect of how are we going to create it technically. what will be the technical art that we will use, what form of art will we use to bring that character to life, whether it be as something as simplistic as helping an actor create a character by giving him an artificial nose, costuming, designing a character that is virtually makeup, Edward Scissorhands. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt in Interview with a Vampire, helping an actor to create that character, to go into something as extensive as a 25,000-pound, 12.5-ton dinosaur that is completely hydraulically controlled and in the most amazing robotic engineering feat of all time. It's another character. What does it look like? How does it have to perform? What technology will you use to create that character? That's the daily basis. Now, what is atypical about it is that virtually every project that we do, we go out of our way to make sure we're not doing what we did before. We challenge ourselves with the need to improve artistically and technically to create a cooler character that has a greater range of performance, that helps tell the story that much better, that uses everything that we have developed artistically and creatively on the movies before. And what you realize is that the movie you did yesterday is simply R&D for the movie that you're doing today. And we have all these tools. We're going to tell the story. Now, how do we create an image and a character that is beyond anything you have ever seen? Because if you've seen it before, you will be bored. I will be bored. It's not my job. My job is not to... My job on Jurassic Park 3, and our job on Jurassic Park 3, was to do dinosaurs better than you'd ever seen them before. Not to rely on what we had done for Jurassic Park, not to rely on what we'd done for Lost World, which was much more than we did for Jurassic Park. The dinosaurs were better actors. They could do more than we ever could have done with Jurassic Park. We could not have done Lost World had we not done Jurassic Park. We did Jurassic Park 3. We did things with dinosaurs beyond anything anybody has ever seen. They were brilliant actors. They were much heavier into the fabric of the story. They performed. They could perform beyond anything we had ever seen before. In this movie, we were in the water with a 12.5-ton dinosaur. We had acting velociraptors that you watched act and react. You watched them talk to one another. You watched them listen to one another. You watched them act and react with human actors. At the end of Jurassic Park 3, when Téa Leoni was on her knees, and that velociraptor walks up to her, and it's sniffing her, and it's nudging her. There are two actors there. And that raptor was a brilliant friggin' actor. And we never could have done that in Jurassic Park 1 or Lost World. And the combination of the technologies, the CG was so far advanced in Jurassic Park 3 that in the same shot, you can have a live-action animatronic velociraptor and a CG velociraptor, and you cannot tell the difference. Totally invisible. We could never have done that before. So when we went into Jurassic Park 3, it was, what are we going to do that we have never done before? How are we going to raise the bar? As brilliant as CG was, how can we raise it to the point where, you know what, let's put it in the same shot. Let's see how good the CG can be. Let's see how much performance we can get out of that animatronic raptor, how much we can get out of that big Spinosaur, which is bigger than the T-Rex, and we couldn't be in the rain for 3 minutes with the T-Rex without him going into the shakes in Jurassic Park. And in Jurassic Park 3, we took a 12.5-ton animal, and his biggest scene was in the water. Beyond anything we had ever done before. You know, brilliant performance, better actor, better than we'd ever done before. In AI, when I originally was talking to Steven Spielberg about the design and the development of the robotic world, artificial intelligence, I had to say, it was almost a negative because my studio's known for robots. You know, the first Oscar I was nominated for was a movie called Heartbeats, robotic makeups on Bernadette Peters and Andy Kaufman. And then, of course, The Terminator with Jim Cameron and the Terminator series. And It's robots. And the robots that were the dinosaurs were robots. What do? We do robots. It's amazing how you get typecast. What do? We do robots. And now there's a robotic world that we have to create and design for Steven Spielberg and AI. And the dictate is, it can't look anything like anything you've done before. And come up with a design. If it's reminiscent of the Terminator, it doesn't work. If it's reminiscent of anything that you've done, so it's like everything that we have done becomes a negative. How do we do it in a way we have never seen it done? And how do we do it in a way using every technique and every possibility of design freedom? And if you look at that movie and sort of sum it up in one of the characters, which was the nanny, which was a combination. This was the character, when she turned her head, you see her face, and there was this beautiful woman, angelic, beautiful face, almost like porcelain, and the whole back half of her head is missing. And then you see the entire robot. It was a challenge to just draw it, just to think the process of, we haven't seen this before, where this actor you can relate to and you can see everything inside its head, and then you go, how are you going to do that? And you pull it all together, and we build a complete animatronic, robotic version of the actress that you see in the movie. I'm not going to tell you where, completely there, complete robot that acts. We devise a prosthetic makeup for an actress to wear that has the edge of it. We put a blue head on, and we bring in CG. So now we've got an actor, a character that comes alive by using prosthetic makeup effects, animatronics, robotic effects, and CGI. All the tools come together for one character, just so you could see something you've never seen before. So you're going to the drawing board in your head each time to go, what is it that we don't know how to do? And so when we say, what's your typical day? Your typical day is figuring out what's not typical.
Join me here again on the wild side of the imagination, where a sense of wonder and a feeling of terror can often intersect. You'll find us waiting here, the Dark Dreamers.